I want to do both. I'm as confrontationist as you're probably going to find. And maybe not. Maybe not. I mean, there are some just completely antagonistic, useless pieces of crap that go, especially on like YouTube videos, that like, because they're not doing anything that's actually productive. I'm in your face, and I would hope, and I have some emails for 5 years or so to back this up that I'm productive. It goes kind of twofold. You were talking about weaning out atheists. I fully support the out campaign. I support the out campaign so much that it's tattooed on my arm. Here's the thing. I said it a number of times. Not everybody is in a position where being out is a viable option, that it may endanger their health, welfare, happiness, whatever. And if that's the case, don't be out. But anybody who can be and is comfortable with it and doesn't think that it's going to be a problem, we need them. When you talk about atheists don't get together very much, it's kind of true. On the other hand, our group gets together several times a week. It's different people at different times. And it's something I actually promoted over at Hemet Metis blog the other day, which is this idea, we do a street cleanup, we do a blood drive, we do happy hours, we do game nights. The list is there more involved? There has been. So what can we do? More.
I want to get in real quick here. The most important thing, as I've been trying to argue here, religion is basically a social economic phenomenon. If you run a country well, religion goes away. That's the most important thing we need to do, run this country better. Every country that's highly secular has some form of universal health care. And that really works because people are no longer worried about, they're not going to go bankrupt because they don't have the money to pay for their operation. And you know, they don't have to worry about whether they're going to get the operation or not. And that really reduces their anxiety levels. Sunday comes along, you know, they've got good health care, they're going to go to church and petition God for more money, or go for a hike. And that's what they do in Europe. So that's actually by far the most important thing. We also, it's very important to do the activism, to be out there. And there are studies that show that there's a tremendous amount of bigotry against atheists in this country. The president thing, most people say they won't marry an atheist and so on.
Most distrusted minority.
Yeah.
I've heard.
So, but that is changing at the same time. Our numbers are going up. So the most important thing is making it a better country, and the religion thing will follow along.
Okay.
Can we plug the UMBC SSA? Are you a student at UMBC?
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Just real quick, I wanted to comment on what you said. There are actually some atheist groups in the Baltimore area. We belong to one, just what is it, Meetup, or whatever that Meetup website is. There's just a social one. They hang out once, the third Tuesday of every month, which would actually be today.
It's Slancha.
Yeah, Slancha. There's some more activism-based ones. So there are groups out there.
But I used to work right there, and I don't really want to get involved just yet.
Well, there are others.
Second humanists on the second Sunday of every month. Again, it's on the web.
And one thing I found, and it's quick because there's people with hands up forever. Let the group be whatever the group's going to be. Because we're talking about volunteer organizations. We're talking about people who want to get together and do the things they want to do. So if you have people that want to be active politically, do that. If you have people that just want to socialize, do that. You'll find that the groups are a lot better off if you are accommodating, and people will want to volunteer and do more.
The Secular Student Alliance at UMBC is part of the Baltimore Coalition of Reason, which pretty much contains any possible organization that you could be looking for. We've got the meetup groups, we have the Unitarian Church, we've got an Ethical Society, we have the Washington Area Secular Humanists. Pretty much that's a really good way to get together. So check out the Baltimore Coalition of Reason website if you're looking.
Yeah, all the way back.
I do a lot of different debating online, in person, family, friends, like that. And what I found is rather than attacking the idea of God, you attack the doctrine of whatever particular religion they uphold. I think, and I was wondering if you all agree, that rather than trying to or letting them think that you are asserting that there is no God, rather attacking the doctrine, let people have
disagree. I disagree.
If you get that far, why not take the next step? If you can't know anything about him, why on earth would you
Well,
believe
I want
him?
to bring up something here that I'm starting to try to do, and I published this in Philosophy and Theology last year. How many people here know that there have been 100 billion people born so far? Just raise your hands.
I read your article.
Now, this is shocking that people don't know this basic fact. I mean, everybody should know that that's what the demographic studies show. What's the juvenile mortality rate over history? Everybody know that one? Juvenile mortality rate is about 50%. That means 50 billion kids have died so far on this planet. Did you know that before? Get out there and spread the word. I mean it. This is a basic fundamental thing. And the biggest killer is disease. Who created diseases according to Christianity? God created everything. All living things were created by God. And in fact, some of the intelligent designers like Behe are explicitly saying, God designed the malaria parasite to kill people. I'm not kidding, it's in his latest book. The creationists say that God created everything. The evolutionist Christians or believers say, well, God allowed these things to evolve. He didn't stop it. This is actually evil. And now what the Christians will do, or what the theists will do generally, is they say, well, God wants humans to have free will. That's why he doesn't control things. But wait a second. You have to be an adult to have free will. So knock it off half the humans. They don't get free will. This is a bizarre contradiction, and this has not been countered. I studied the literature. If you go and look at what the theologians say, they talk about the suffering of animals. I'm not kidding. They avoid the kids because it's complete contradiction. So what I would say is we need that. By the way, this depends on who you are, what you want to do. I'm not saying that everybody should do this, but a major part of atheism should perhaps be even going further than what Dawkins and Hitchens have been saying, because they haven't been saying this. I noticed that Hitchens didn't bring this up in his debate with Berlinski. Is say to Abrahamists, you're worshiping for your self-aggrandizement, for a reward, a God that if it exists has killed 50 billion children. This is wrong, it's immoral, be a grown-up, be decent, and stop doing this. You know, just, again, be good for goodness sake, don't worry about the gods, they can take care of themselves if they exist, and don't worship this kind of a terrible entity.
Wait, what do you mean stop doing this or doing what?
Stop worshiping the gods, it's a bad thing.
I don't understand why though.
Because I told you, God has killed off 50 billion kids.
But who's to say that's evil?
Okay,
Look, if religion can't tell you that scale of evil is really evil, that proves religion doesn't know anything about good and evil.
But like what I'm trying to say is who's to say that the life, that the great life is a longer life, a life full of luxury, a life with money. Who's to say
you're
that?
saying it's
You
okay
do.
for a 3-year-old kid to go through a torturous, agonizing
No, I don't
disease
say that at all, and my religion doesn't say anything against not studying science. We're actually encouraged to learn. People book and
You're a
learn.
Muslim man, right?
Yes.
Your God, if it exists, allowed 50 billion kids to die, didn't stop it. This is an evil thing.
But whether we're dying from disease or anything, we're all going to die one day.
And there are better and worse ways.
Well, why? Why?
Because if we all lived on this planet and we all stayed alive, there's not.
Then I get to do what I want to do. It's my own free will. I get to be a
Yeah, I
human being and
understand
do
that,
what I
but
want to do.
If you had a baby and it died, would you regard that as an evil? If you had a baby and it could have been saved by medicine, but the medicine wasn't available and the baby died, would you have considered that evil?
Well, I'm not against medicine. Neither is my religion.
I'm
So
asking
why
you a question. Is it
why
an
did God
evil?
just do this in the start? Why didn't God set up a habitat for humans that's safe? We're living on a death track. We have a God that creates an entire universe
Yeah, we are.
and builds this tiny little planet for us that's so packed full of dangers, including diseases, and he didn't even give children a good immune system. Children are particularly That's for the diseases that God created.
Okay, well, first of all,
Do you understand that you're in real moral trouble here?
I don't believe that I'm in moral trouble. I don't believe that you're in moral trouble. I don't believe.
I'm pretty sure you've lost grip on what is evil.
I think you are in moral
If
trouble.
you're not
I
able
know I
to
am.
tell us
Honestly,
that that's
honestly,
evil.
I don't think that anyone. I believe in the American values. I believe that we all are Americans here, whether we are or not.
Is saving
Yeah.
innocence a moral value?
I just want to say.
Why can't God do it?
Well, I'm not.
He expects us
attacking
to
your
try.
morals, but what I'm saying is that whether this is America and I'm an American,
And whether you have my moral values or not, I'm not going to impose mine on you. And I'm going to ask.
I'm
please
trying to
don't
work
impose
from
it.
where we ought to agree,
Yeah, but
not
what
where we
I'm
disagree.
saying, what I've been hearing is that I don't feel like the solution to the problem is to get rid of religion. I feel like the solution of the problem is that we have to find out what our true American values are, and that is to respect everyone for who they are. Despite your own beliefs, you are an American, we live in America, and we have to respect those values, because we all, if you don't like the values of this country, you can move out.
No,
What do you mean?
you can change it. That's the beauty of the thing.
You mean,
But, let me say this. If you ran across somebody who's beating somebody else over the head with a stick, would you try to stop them?
of course.
You are imposing your moral views on that person.
That's right.
You are saying it's wrong for them to beat that other person with a stick.
If you came across a baby and you could have easily saved it or walk away to let it die, would you save it?
Yeah.
If so, you're contradicting God.
We
Maybe God wanted that
God
baby to die.
doesn't save children.
God doesn't
little
save
children.
child.
We do it all the time.
But,
It's part of my plan.
That's
It
not-
doesn't make any sense. It's part of my plan.
I mean, I don't know what religion you're talking about, but my religion, if my mother's in the hospital and I have the choice to inject medicine into her or not, my religion says go ahead and allow to inject medicine. It's not saying that you can't save people.
I'm not arguing what they're saying. What I'm saying.
We want to know why God won't do what we think is moral.
Your God didn't do that. Your God could have put a stop to all this.
Would it be more morally correct for 50 billion kids to die before they reach maturity than for them to actually be allowed to exist until they reach maturity, which is more moral?
I mean, I honestly do believe that in God. And I mean, I don't want to get attacked, and I don't want to attack anyone.
This isn't even necessarily against you.
I know, I understand that, but I know you're asking me, but
It's a simple question.
It's a simple-
That's the reason why these guys got immediately frustrated.
because like I feel,
Because it's something that should be painfully obvious.
But is it better for human beings to exist at all than for evolution not to happen?
because, okay, my viewpoint is that.
Yes.
Oh, but God didn't have to go through evolution. God could have just simply created a planet or a habitat, and a safe habitat with no death on it if he wanted to.
Because-
There's nothing.
For no other reason than my existence is preferable to me, at a bare minimum. I mean, I think we should start with that basic. For me, living one more day is preferable to dying today.
Yeah.
So, and I think we share those common values. So what I understand and what they couldn't quite get, or we're trying to point out, is clearly it seems morally bankrupt to create a system where half of the population dies before they reach maturity.
And tortured to death. It's not just died. It's really ugly.
Yeah, and I think that's more of the point that they're trying to make to answer your question is, it's not the idea that people die. What can do if people die every day? We're all very used to that. It's the fact that if God exists, he created disease and things that literally rack and torture our bodies that very easily could have never existed. The type of things like cancer, AIDS, think of how